Hi, my name's Billy. I read books and I sometimes neglect books. I don't mean I treat them badly. I mean, I read books by authors and think, oh, I like that. And then I never read any more by them. Or I buy a load of books by an author and think, I'm going to like this, and then never read them. And I'm going to talk to you about 5 of them. So before we get into that, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please like it. And if any of these books, when I talk about them, make them onto your TBR, or if they're on your neglected list as well, please consider subscribing. The first author I'm going to talk about is Pierce Brown, author of the Red Rising saga. Now, I read the first 3 books in this a good few years ago. I thought the first book was a bit, okay, I wasn't really expecting what that was about. Bit like the Hunger Games in a way, when I was thinking it was a science fiction book. But it was all right, it was good. The second book was just off its face, fast paced. I've never read a book like it. It was just so frenetic from start to finish. And then the third book tied the story up and eased the pace off a bit, even though it was still fast paced, even though you just fly through the book. I had a really good time with it. And I realised then that there was other books he'd written in that same series, such as Iron Gold and such as Dark Age. But I never picked these up because I knew this part of it wasn't finished. There was at least one more to come. So I always hung off. And he's recently released Lightbringer, the next book in this sequel part of the saga. And I think there's one more book to come after that as well. I don't know when that's coming out. And I just never picked them up. I've had them. I have these on my shelf, obviously, because they're physical format books. I have them on my shelf. I see them every day. And despite the fact I really liked the first 3 books, and Lightbringer came out this year, and that was all over booktube with people reading it and reviewing it, I just can't seem to get myself round to picking this up again. And I feel really bad because I was really keen on reading Lightbringer, Red Rising. And when I started reading it, I was having a really good time. So I feel really bad and like I'm neglecting that series. I don't know why it is that I can't bring myself around to pick it up. Maybe it's because I felt like those first 3 books, that was just the story done. Does it really need a bit more? I don't know, but I don't understand why I can't get myself round to picking these up. And in a similar vein to that is the next author and series I'm going to talk about, and that's John Gwyn, author of the Faithful and the Fallen series. Now, I read that. That's a 4-book epic fantasy series, and I liked it. I don't think I liked it as much as what the vast majority of other booktubers seem to do. I had a really good time with it. I was thinking maybe it just went on a little bit too long. Maybe the books could have been a bit shorter and it could have been 3 books, maybe. A bit of a controversial opinion there. But anyway, it was good. Some of the battle scenes, the fight scenes, some of the story arcs, character arcs were fantastic. There was a character death early on, which I didn't see coming, and I was like, oh wow, I did not see that coming, which I thought was done really well. And yeah, I read all 4 books, and I bought the 3 books in the follow-up series of Blood and Bone, and I've bought the 2 books in his next series, the Bloodsworn saga, and I haven't read any of them. Even though I own the full Blood and Bone series, I've just not got to it. And I think this must be, what we're thinking, at least 3 years, maybe. I've just not got to it. It's fallen into the same category as what I just spoke about with Pierce Brown. Why am I not picking them up? Why am I not reading it? At the moment, I'm in a spell of reading books which I'm giving like 3.5 stars to, and yet I'm well aware I've got a completed trilogy by John Gwyn on my Kindle. Why am I not getting to it? I don't know, but I definitely feel I am neglecting John Gwyn's books. One of my favourite authors is, and one I've spoken about in other videos, is Sebastian De Castell. And I've read his Greatcoats series, so that's 4 books. I've read his Spellslinger series, I think that's 7 books. And then there's a follow-on series to that about the Argosy. I've read 2 of the 3 from that. And I was like, well, there you go. I've read loads of his books. I've read all of his books, apart from that last one. I'm up to date with Sebastian De Castell because he's my favourite author. Well, it turns out I'm not, because he's wrote a load of novelettes or short stories about the Greatcoats, which I've not read. I've read one. This is what inspired this video, really, because I'm currently reading another one, a short story, thinking, oh my word, this is one of my favourite authors, and I've neglected him. He wrote the Malevolent 7. I can never pronounce that word. I'll put it here. He's written that. I didn't know about that. I've not read it. He's got a new series out. Is it The Court of Shadows? The Cast of Shadows? I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it here. There's one book out in that. I think the second one's coming out soon. I didn't know about this. Sebastian, I'm neglecting you. One of my favourite authors, and I feel like I'm neglecting his books. How did I not know about any of this? Oh, call myself a fan, honestly. Call myself a booktuber, honestly. Anyway, yeah. How have I neglected this so much? I think I was just sat there like this, basking in the glory, cigar, like that, thinking, I've read all of his books other than one. There you go, here I am, Mr. Big Fan. It turns out I'm not. I got complacent. I've neglected you. I'm sorry. An author I haven't read anything by, but I own books of, and see and hear spoken about quite a lot, and I think, oh yeah, him. Yeah, I've got his books. Yeah. But then I think, I've never read him. I've got a complete trilogy by him. It's Ben Galley. I have got the complete Chasing Graves trilogy. I have got at least 2 books in the Emaneska series as well. And the covers, especially on the Emaneska books, look fantastic. I think he's got a follow-up series as well after that, which kind of looks the same. I can't remember what that's called. I may have one of those as well. And I've just never got to him. Never got to him. He's one of those authors in my mind. He's one of those like under the radar authors. You know, one of those authors who has the potential to be big. It could be one of those authors for me. And I've just never got to him. Even though I've got a complete trilogy by him. Normally what stops me is I've only got 1 of 3 books or 2 of 3 books, or the series isn't complete and then I never go to them. I've got no excuses with Ben. I've got none whatsoever. Please tell me which one of those I should go to first. Should I do Chasing Graves? Should I do Emaneska? Let me know, because I'm just neglecting a potential top quality author for me. And then finally is Daniel Abraham, and he's one half of James S.A. Corey, who wrote The Expanse. Now the reason I'm saying I'm neglecting him is because I hear lots of good things about his solo work. The Long Price Quartet, the Dagger and the Coin, and the Kithamar, I think it's called, series. He's got all those writing on his own, but then he's got the full Expanse series, the science fiction series, that he's co-wrote with another author whose name escapes me. I've read two of The Expanse. I keep looking out for the Long Price Quartet being reasonably priced and never get it. And it's the one I'm always looking for on digital or on eBay. I have the first 2 books in The Dagger and the Coin, and I have the first book in that Kithamar series or whatever it's called. And I've not read them. I've only read those 2 books, and I want to read some of his standalone stuff because I hear good things about them. Like slow burn fantasy stories. And sometimes when you're craving something like that, his is the name that always springs into my mind. And I think, well, I want to read the Long Price Quartet first because I think that's his most popular work. I haven't got it yet. I should buy the thing, but I've not. But I have his other works. And I think, well, why don't you just go carry on reading The Expanse? And I don't. I'm neglecting him. So those are the authors that I feel I am neglecting and shouldn't be. Let me know which authors you neglect. Please give me the virtual kick up the arse in the comments to pick some of these up and get on with them. And I will see you again in the next video. Okay, take care. Bye bye.